but it was worth every fucking minute. There is a part in the movie that I actually teared up on. No, I ain't no bitch. No, I'm just playing. It's okay to cry. Popular. I know about popular. I'll tell you about pop. However it goes. You don't see that sort of loyalty these days too. That's why you have to keep your circle small. You have to keep them small. And you got to say no to the Diddy parties. Shout out to Cat Williams. What's going on, guys and gals? It's your boy Guy, and welcome back to Guy and Friends. Today I will be reviewing the movie Wicked. Now let me first and foremost say this. This movie was phenomenal. Cynthia Erivo's performance was phenomenal. Ariana Grande's performance was phenomenal. Now let me say this. Last night I went at about 11 p.m. I got out of the movie almost at 2 o'clock in the morning. I had to work at 9. Yes, I was tired. But the movie was 2 hours and 40 minutes. But it was worth every fucking minute. Do you hear me? I would do it again and again and again and again. It was just that good. Like, I've never seen the stage play of Wicked, so this was me I knew what Wicked was about, more or less, but the fact that I just dove into this movie, chef's kiss, because it was just done so nicely that anybody who says they don't like the movie I feel like you're just a hater. You're just a hater, but that's neither here nor there. I'll get into all of that. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you would know what The Wizard of Oz is. The Wizard of Oz tells the story of Dorothy. She meets the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, the Lion. She goes to Emerald City to find the wizard so that she can get home. She has these red slippers and blah, 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 blah. The villain in the movie or the story is the Wicked Witch of the West. Now, that movie is supposed to be based on propaganda and rumors that the townspeople or the Munchkin people have told about Elphaba or the Wicked Witch of the West. Wicked is supposed to be the accurate depiction of who Elphaba was and how she became villainized. Now, it also tells her story of meeting Galinda, who is later the Good Witch. She becomes her roommate, and their friendship blossoms. A lot of shit happens in between. Now, first, I just want to start with the acting. Cynthia Erivo embodied the Green Witch, the Wicked Witch, whatever you want to call her, the Wicked Witch. She embodied the character. Elphaba was Cynthia. Cynthia was Elphaba. When I tell you her depiction of the Wicked Witch was so spot on, and I felt for Elfie or Elphaba from the way that Cynthia beautifully portrayed her. So Elphaba basically grew up as an outcast because she was born green. I'm not going to go too deep into the story because I don't want to give too many spoilers, especially not at the beginning of the video. If I do, I'll talk about it towards the end. But Elphaba basically, she was green. She was outcast and otherized by people. She wanted to protect animals who could speak because there was this campaign to get rid of animals that could speak. They should be caged and so on. And her thing was that she wanted to protect the animals. And she related to the animals because for all of her life, she had been otherized based on the color of her skin. Let me say that again. She was otherized based on the color of her skin. This movie, I feel as though it has the fact that it came out at this time in the world. I mean, wow. Because I feel, not to get too political, but I feel like it's so easy for people to otherize and be bullies and find somebody to demonize and to blame for their issues. And it's really sad. There is a part in the movie that I actually teared up on. No, I ain't no bitch. No, I'm just playing. It's okay to cry. But no, I teared up because it was so relatable. It was so real. It was so, I don't know. I felt that moment. Um, it was a part that was about bullying, but I'll talk more about that. I don't want to spoil too much, but it was about her being bullied. And the moment was just like, and I believe there was a silence in that part of the film that was so heavy. And I don't know, it just touches your soul, especially if you can relate. I do feel as though there are a lot of marginalized communities, especially Black people, who can relate to this movie and Elphaba in particular, and just the story that's being told. Because from some time or another, as a Black person, you have been otherized, you have been singled out, you have been, whether it's you being followed or pulled over by the police, for being, just being you, being profiled. Like, and then there's an element of just being bullied, and whether you have braces or if you didn't have as much money as a kid and your clothes are worn or whatever the case may be, and people bullied you, like, you would be able to connect with Alphaba. So phenomenal performance. And the crazy part about it is the fact that some of the scenes were ad-libbed, and the fact that the emotion behind the words and behind the songs, that when, because they were singing live, everything that you see in the movie is live. I guess the way they set up the studio and the set is that it would be able to capture them. That is all live, raw emotion, even the crying scenes. But yeah, Cynthia Erivo, phenomenal. Now, Ariana Grande's character, loved her portrayal of Galinda, or because she wants to do, you know, service to the world, Glinda. She's gonna drop the G in solidarity. You'll get it if you saw the movie. But yeah, Ariana Grande killed it. I mean, she really put her acting chops out there. Her portrayal was just hilarious. Her comedic timing. I feel like she was the character. Sometimes you can see, whether it's an actress or an actor, and they may play in something else, or they're known for singing or rapping, or whatever the case may be, and you can't separate them from the character. And like, some people may have watched and like, oh, is that Ariana Grande? No, that was Galinda. When I tell you, she was so snobby, so arrogant. She had everybody eating out of the palm of her hand. Like, she killed her role. Like, honestly, I hope both of them are nominated for this award season for Emmys. Well, not Emmys, but the SAG Awards and for the Oscars. Like, they honestly deserve it. Their portrayal, amazing. But yeah, and their chemistry on set, I would have thought they were like actual best friends. And then the way that you see them on this press tour and how close they have become, I'm not sure if they became close on set or if they really grew their bond through the press tour, but I believe there is a real friendship there, and the way that they take care of each other. Well, actually, the director said that they were like that on set too. So the way that they take care of each other on set, as well as this long ride of a press tour, I don't know. I just feel like that is what friendship looks like. Um, it's funny because this press tour, I mean, they are everywhere. Who is the person responsible? People take notes. This press tour, they've been on, big named podcasts and interviewed, I mean, like, news outlets, but they've also done like smaller ones, and I feel like they're reaching everybody. everybody. And I've seen some critics try to come out and say they don't want to see the movie because Elphaba should not be black. Why are they trying to remake it even though the character is green? So anybody could actually play Elphaba. She's green. They don't show Cynthia Erivo's skin in the movie besides being green. But I digress. But I feel like people just want to have full outrage about anything, and that's what really pisses me off with this age, like this day and age, is like people just want to be mad and find some reason to like be negative and hate, and I feel like people try to say their own insecurities and their own issues and try to find some sort of flaw in somebody else or some sort of negativity or some way to negatively critique someone. But if you say that this movie isn't good, you're just being a hater, because there was nothing in this movie, honestly, that I say I would change or should have been done differently. It was amazing. Like I said, the acting, incredible. The music, their vocals, like I said, they were singing live. The passion that was behind their voice, and the passion that you saw in their eyes delivering it was just like, wow, y'all are really doing this shit. Y'all are really killing it. And I mean, that in this movie, the last 10 minutes, when they started singing Defying Gravity, that whole entire scene visually, sonically, like, it was just like breathtaking. It was an amazing moment. It was an empowering moment. When I tell you, I'm like, wow. I was just in awe, honestly. Now, um, every music, like, there is if you're not a fan of musicals or music like in movies, you may have an issue with the movie, but Wicked is a musical, so I don't see how you would think it would. Now there is regular dialogue, and but it is heavily musical, and it's like, I loved it. It was like a fucking party in my ears. It was like I was having eargasms the entire time. They were singing. I mean, the vocals were like in their falsettos, and I was hearing like some opera in there, and it was fun. And even the choreography. Can we get on the choreography? I mean, the dance moves and every way, how everyone was just in sync, and in these scenes. I mean, it was crisp. Um, it was perfect. I mean, it was just like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. That's how good it was. It was just, give the choreographer a raise, give the vocal coaches a raise. And another crazy part is, even when Cynthia was doing like the flips and stuff, because yes, she did do her own stunts, she was also singing when she was doing those flips. She talks about in some interviews how she worked with her vocal coach, and they were working out where she should take her breath so that she would be able to, you know, maximize her delivery of notes and all of that. But to do that live and also be doing the stunts, that is crazy to me. Who's doing it? Who's doing it? Like I said, if you are hating on this movie, you're just being a hater. Um, Diving into like the visuals, there was some CGI. The one CGI part that was a little weird, but I got it. And it wasn't like terrible. It was when Elphaba, she was like running through like this field, and you could tell it was CGI, but she was singing in the moment. So you really didn't care if it was CGI or not. I didn't give a damn. I was just happy to hear her voice, and I was just happy to see her happy in that moment. But as far as like the set designs, they actually built, majority of this movie was actually buildings that they built, sets that they've created, and they did an amazing job, because they really made it immersive, where you really felt as though, wow, is this Munchkin Land? Is this Emerald City? Is this uh Shiz, which is the school they went to? And it's like, yeah, this is crazy. But I mean, they did have, I think, for both movies, they spent, I think, up front, I think it's the largest budget Universal has ever put up. for with $350 million, and it's worth every penny. When I tell you, when you see it, it's visually stunning, mesmerizing, ethereal in some scenes. Um, and I feel like they really did what they needed to do to really capture eyes and to capture what people would think Wicked is. Now, like I said, the pacing of this movie was done so nicely because, some people were like, this movie is so long. It's longer than the actual play. Yeah. But the way that they did it, you were able to really dive into those relationships. You can really see, um, I don't know, the backstory, and not feel rushed or not feel like, I don't know. I feel like, wow, I'm really taking a walk through your life and really getting a better understanding. And this movie will make you. Now, there was a part in this movie because I didn't like. I'll talk about it a little later because I don't want to spoil too much. But all in all, the performances were great. The visuals were great. The music was great. Now, like I said, as far as like the critiques, people like, if you don't want to see the movie, don't see the movie. I never understand when people post, oh, well, I'm not going to see the movie. Like, whether it's a status or, and I get it, it's your thing. You could post whatever you want to post. But why would you want to just randomly put out that sort of negativity? Well, I don't want to see the movie. Okay, well, don't see it. Cynthia's not going to lose any sleep. Ariana Grande is not going to lose any sleep. Universal is not going to lose any sleep. But I feel like people just want to put that sort of negativity in the air. If you don't want to see it, don't see it, guys. But you'll be doing yourself a disservice. You would. It's a great movie. Um Now I'm going to start going somewhat into spoilers. So at this moment, if you don't want to hear any spoilers, don't watch past this point or skip. I'm not sure what the timestamp will be. Maybe I'll put like I don't know, a timestamp where you can skip to. I don't know. Maybe it'll be on I think the video actually does it, but regardless. Um, Now we're going into scenes. The scene that made me tear up was when Elphaba went to that dance and she walked in and all of those people laughed at her. All of those people were making fun of her because Galinda gave her this hat that she said was hideous. Her and her friends were laughing about how it was hideous and that her grandmother made it. And she didn't hate anybody enough to give it to, but they were like, her friends were like, give it to Elphaba. So she gives it to Elphaba. She wears it to the dance and everybody laughs. Elphaba, she was trying to be strong. And even Galinda noticed it and said, I can't think of the prince's name, but it was Galinda's love interest, but he actually had a crush on Elphaba. But I digress. But the prince, he basically said, she's so strong, but Galinda's like, no, she's protecting herself. She's holding it in. Like, you can tell that she was actually sad, but you have to put on a brave face. And too often, I mean, it was so relatable. But before I get into that, so she goes into the dance and then she starts doing these dances or whatever, and everybody's laughing at her. Eventually, Galinda notices, and she starts to feel bad. And so, because Elphaba actually looks out for Galinda and helps her get into this class, whatever the case may be. And Galinda starts dancing with Elphaba, and Elphaba starts to cry. And when she started to cry, I started tearing up. And for me, because I really felt the raw emotions in that scene. And for me, in elementary school, I was bullied. With my name being Guy, and at that time my voice was a lot lighter, and I remember kids, and I was like very like a nice kid, straight A, kind to everybody because that's just how I was raised. And since my name was Guy, people would either call me gay to make a play on my name and call me gay, or they'll call me gay guy, or they'll make fun of my voice because it was higher pitched. And I remember there were times, dark times in my life where, I fell into like a state of like depression. And, there were moments where you do feel suicidal, where bullying can consume you. You can be filled with just sadness and that sense of rejection, and that sense of, people otherizing you, because I wasn't a part of like the cool kids with everyone else, because I wasn't, slap boxing or, roughing up the girls. That's not what I was doing. I was trying to get my work done. I was trying to, go to different club meetings in the school. And so I really felt in that moment because I understood the sadness that she felt. And another layer of that was because that portion was just the kid in me. But I also feel, as a black man in America, and again, I don't want to get too political and stuff like that, but as a black man, I know how it feels to go in stores and be followed or be profiled. There was a time when I was pulled over by a cop because of mistaken identity. My car matched the description of someone that was breaking into schools, and a cop pulled a gun and put it to the window and said, "I will blow your fucking head off if you move." Excuse me for, the cussing, but they said, "I will blow your fucking head off." And I would have been killed just based on like mistaken identity or being profiled. And I don't know. I feel like it is rough and it's easy to be otherized, the way that Elphaba is in this movie, as a black person, as a person of color. Um, so there's another layer that I feel like black people connect to with Elphaba, especially with Cynthia portraying her. Um, that some people may not feel or get, but anybody, I feel like, from the level of bullying you can, but there's an additional layer just knowing how the world otherizes you. Even when you think about, and when I tell you, the movie is so current. I mean, with everything that's going on in the world and how we are otherizing other communities, and how it's so easy, because in the movie at the end, the wizard says, or the wiz, whatever, he says, I'm paraphrasing, but something along the lines of, we all can unite under, when we're against like a common threat, or whatever the case may be. And that's why I say it's so easy to otherize people, or even like black people who now want to otherize Hispanic people, or Hispanic, like, or vice versa, or whatever the case may be. It's so easy to otherize people, but you're pointing at these people, but as sooner or later they're going to be pointing at you. So you have to be careful otherizing people. I'm not okay with that. I look at individuals as individuals. I don't um, paint white people with one broad stroke. Black people, Asian people, Hispanic people, everybody are individuals. Everybody are individuals, and no group are monolithic. Everybody has their own ideas, thoughts, opinions, and feelings and lived experiences. But to go back to the scene was just very powerful, and I think that uh, watching the movie, and if you haven't seen it, I think it may touch you. And I wonder if you're somebody who's watching or listening, if that scene made you feel anything, and if it did, what did it make you feel, or how did you relate to that scene? Tell me down in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. I would love to know. Um, yeah, and then I didn't like in the movie how I hated when Elphaba and the prince left, and then they started flirting. I don't like that, because not over a guy. If you all have sisterhood and like close friends, don't let some, whether it's a girl or whether it's a guy, get come in between you and break up a friendship. It's not worth it, because at the end of the day, this person has been there for you and stood by your side. But if this person was dating or had interest in this person, but now they're flirting with you, what's stopping them, if you were to get with them, to do the exact same thing to you and flirt with somebody else that may come along? So I don't like that. I get it, but I don't like that. that portrayal. Um, and then another part I didn't like was the fact that Glenda saw how they were trying to villainize and frame Elphaba towards the end, and yet she still hugged the teacher and gave her an embrace after you saw what they did to your friend, like, and all that Elphaba did for her. And I get that Galinda, later on, tried to be friendly and help out Elphaba, especially like try to be popular. I know about popular. I'll tell you about however it goes. But yeah, I didn't like that. I felt like that was a betrayal of friendship. Like, you don't do somebody like that. Like, you stand 10 toes down for somebody who's there for you, who have been there for you. And you don't see that sort of loyalty these days too. That's why you have to keep your circle small. You have to keep them small. And you got to say no to the Diddy parties. Shout out to Cat Williams. I know that was random, but the way that I said whatever. Yeah, so I just didn't like that portrayal. Um so all in all, this wasn't a phenomenal movie. Tell me down in the comments some of your favorite movies. What were some things that you like, Easter eggs that you saw, because I hear that there were Easter eggs from like The Wizard of Oz, and there were some. I allegedly heard that lion that was saved by Elphaba is actually the lion from The Wizard of Oz. Boom, big brain. But yeah, I found that to be kind of cool. Yeah, so tell me down in the comments what you thought was the best scenes or things that affected you or Easter eggs you may have saw. I would highly, highly, highly recommend this movie to anybody. If you around, and this is around Thanksgiving, so if you celebrate Thanksgiving, if you're around the family, I recommend you and the family go and check out the movie. Give it a chance, especially if you like musicals. The kids will love it. I think kids really love musicals. I love them, but I've always loved musicals. Grease, um, uh, yeah, I liked a lot. I can't think. Of course, when I try to name them, none come to mind. But I've always loved musicals. But I think that I didn't see it in 3D. I just saw it regular. I'm really not a big fan of 3D. It messes with my eyes. But um, yeah, I recommend. I know a lot of people like, yeah, I'll wait till it comes, on like some streaming service. But I recommend seeing it, even if you watch it on streaming services. I recommend you see it in the movie theaters, because even certain scenes you felt like rumblings, and then like the surround sounds in the theater, you heard like certain parts around you, and it really, again, was like an immersive experience. Um, yeah, so the score I would give this movie, honestly, and people may be like, okay, now, but I give it a 10 out of 10. Again, acting, 10 out of 10. Visuals, 10 out of 10. Music, 10 out of 10. It was an amazing movie, guys. I have no sort of critiques, really. Like I said, the critiques that I had was basically the story itself, as far as like the betrayals of friendship and stuff like that. But yeah, nothing that really comes to mind. But like I said, leave me some comments and make sure you like the video. I appreciate you all for continuing to support the podcast as well as the YouTube channel. If you want to watch the podcast, it'll be down in the description bar. And if you want to watch me on YouTube, it's Guy and Friends, GUYANDFRIENDS. Can you spell Guy? Are you there? It's late. Give me a break. Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Kit Kat, are you trying to sponsor me? I don't know. But did you guys notice, if you're watching the video, I'm wearing green, and this was paying homage to Elphaba. And like I said, because I felt like, I don't know, I felt close to the character, and I felt I related to that character and that experience a lot. So I wanted to pay homage to Cynthia Erivo as well as Elphaba, the character. And if you're watching the video as well, you'll see behind me I have the green and pink lights. Yeah, shout out to Wicked. Shout out to Cynthia Erivo. Shout out to Ariana Grande. And shout out to all the guys and gals who are listening and watching the video. And at this point, I'm just really rambling. So I'm going to close the video and let you guys know. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you are notified anytime I post new videos. And as always, peace, love, blessings. And I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. Bye.